Yeah, it's okay. I mean, whatever balance things I did not record, I will explain it once again in the final video and I'll put them in the video. So this particular series circuit that I've just built, I missed out on the recording. So one last time I will explain it so that it becomes, I mean, at least you can remember it when you see this video. So we are starting the circuit where we connected battery positive here. So from there, it went into the vertical leg over here. From there, the current flows into the first resistor, from the first into the second, from the second into the third, and to the second vertical leg, the black leg onto the last one. We are connecting it over there because we need to close the circuit at this particular point. So that is the entire series connection. Now I want you to write values, guys. First, what we'll do is we'll write the values for voltages, potential differences. So there are 4 potential differences that are possible. 4. The first one is at the battery. That's the total voltage V. Second one is for the resistor 1. We can say it is V1 for now. Let's imagine we don't know that what is the relation between V1, V2, V3. Let's imagine we do not know that relation. So we need to build that. So V is for the main battery, V1 for the first resistor, V2 for the second, V3 for the third one. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll choose a multimeter. I'll set it to voltmeter. I'm setting it to voltmeter for 20 volts because these are high resistances. Voltmeter value will also be high. So I'm setting it up over here. So let's start, guys. I'm switching on the battery. Right, so I switched it on. One of you, please start writing. Or at least all of you, that would be much more better if everyone writes this. So my first one, what I'm doing over here is I want to know the total voltage of the circuit or the total energy at the terminals. So that is capital V. And for that, what I'm doing is I'm connecting voltmeter negative to the battery negative location and voltmeter positive to the battery positive location. And as soon as I do that, I'm getting the total V, capital V value, and it's a little bit of fluctuation. When it fluctuates, obviously your readings will also, I mean, the final reading might not match with the initial. I think it's steady right now, guys. Take this. Capital V is 6.68 volts, directly volts. No need to modify anything, okay? 6.68 volts. Now let's take V1, guys. V1, please check this out. This is our first resistor. If we place our voltmeter terminals to the first resistor, then we will actually get V1 value. So please write the V1 value, let it stabilize. It's 2.34. V1 is 2.34. 2.34. Now let's go ahead with V2. When I'm doing V2, I'm making a small change in the connection. Please check it out. Current enters over here. If you check it out, current from the first resistor, it is entering into the second resistor at this location. So this location is related to the battery positive since current is entering over there. So I need to put my battery positive here and battery negative on the other side. Okay. So that's V2. If I do it reverse, guys, if I put battery positive here and battery negative there, I'll see a minus sign, because I've reversed the terminal. So V2 value is 1.06. I saw a little bit of 1.07. Let's ignore that. V2 is 1.06. Now the last one is V3. Whatever current was in second resistor, it entered into the third resistor at this particular location. Please check this out. At this location. Since it entered here, our voltmeter positive should be at this location wherever current enters, and voltmeter negative on the other side. So that is V3, 3.27 volts. Now, if you even add it, I will do the addition a little later, but if you add it yourself, we might actually verify for a series, V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. There will be a little bit of difference, a little bit of error in each reading. So don't expect perfectly matching, but we'll be close enough actually, okay? And I mean, we need to have much more sophisticated apparatus. And also we need to have what you say, even our battery should be, or the input power supply should be perfectly still. Only then we can get perfect results. So we just verified, or we just got the values of voltages. Now let's get the values of currents, guys. So we have again 4 currents. The main current in the circuit is I. So at this particular location, your small crocodile clip, if I connect my ammeter over here, I'll get the total current at this location. If I want the current flowing through the first resistor, I made this particular arrangement. I can use this crocodile clip for I1, this is I2 and I3. If you remember, for series circuit, what we were supposed to prove is current remains the same in the entire circuit. Only potential differences will vary, and V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Current should remain the same. So let's try to prove that. So in order to prove that, I'm changing the same voltmeter to ammeter. I will set it to 200 milliamps. Okay, the reason I'm setting it to 200 milliamps and not 10 amperes is I know that because of all these high resistances, high value resistors, the current will be very, very small. So that's the reason I'm setting it to 200 millivolts. And you need to understand one more concept, guys. Ammeters are connected in series. We say that, right? Ammeters are always connected in series. So I cannot put my ammeter positive and negative in this fashion. I cannot directly put it over here. The reason this is not in series, because some current is flowing through the ammeter right now and some current is flowing into the crocodile clip. So it's like a parallel connection. So what we need to do is we need to make a series connection. So for that, we need to break the circuit. I'm breaking this circuit at this point. I broke this circuit. So there's an opening. In that opening, I can actually place my ammeter and I can get the values of the total current in the circuit, capital I. Okay, the total current in the circuit is 4.9 milliamperes. Please write this value, everyone. I is equal to 4.9 milliamperes. Now that is I, the total current in the circuit. All right, so let's look at, just a second, I have a chat window active. Someone else want to join, it seems, right? Guys, let me complete these 3 values and I will get back to the seat and do that. It's okay. I mean, let's wait. I think I logged the screen. Let's complete these 3 values, guys. Let's not get disturbed at this point. So this is the total current in the circuit. Now I need to close this. If I don't close it, current will never flow to the other sides. Now I want to find out the current at this location from the first resistor. So I'm opening the circuit over here. There's a breakage. And if I connect my ammeter at that location.
Banu sir, excuse me, sir.
Hello?
Sir, yes, Banu sir, excuse me. Sorry, sorry for the disturbance, sir. The Komal, she was actually outside, sir. Once you allow her, Komal, but to Komal.
Okay, okay, right, sir. Yeah, I'll open this. Guys, just remember where we are stopping. We stopped. We are actually trying to find the electric current at various locations. Yes, sir, I opened the lock. All right, so check this out. This is where we are breaking this circuit, and electric current I want to measure at that location. Just remember the reason for doing this. We are doing this because series, I mean, ammeter should be connected in series. So that's the reason we need to break a circuit actually, okay? Now, and ammeter positive on the left, ammeter negative on the right, because if you remember, ammeter positive should always go towards the battery positive side. Now check this out. It's 4.9. I think we had 4.8 or 4.9. It's almost the same, right? Anyone, do you remember what was the total current value, guys?
So
total current I. Is someone writing a value?
4.9 only, sir.
Can you, one second, just a second. Can you be a bit louder?
So it's 4.9.
4.9 milliamps.
Yes, so even here we are seeing the same 4.9 milliamperes. Now let's go ahead and do I2 for the second location. So we are clearly proving that current is the same at every point in a series circuit. Now I'm breaking this circuit again. I don't want it to be connected anywhere else. So it needs to be free. So this time my ammeter red wire should be on the right side and ammeter black wire should be on the left side, because the way we have made this circuit is in such fashion. Again, 4.9, please check it out, guys. So total current is equal to I1 at the first resistor, I2 at the second resistor, and obviously the total current will be the same at I3 also. Let's do that too very quickly. We opened up this circuit. Only care we need to take at this point is just to make sure that there's no other cross connections, unintended connections. If that is there, then we have different results. So for I3 also, we have 4.9 milliamperes. So guys, clearly we just proved that V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, and I is equal to constant throughout the series circuit. So we proved. All we have to prove right now is for resistance. Is the resistance R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. If we prove that, our series circuit is completely done. Parallel circuit is much more simple than series. So we'll do that too actually. All right, guys, so we have all our results. So please be ready with those results. We'll put it on our Excel sheet and move on to the parallel circuit. Yeah, please tell me now, guys, what is the first voltage, the total voltage of the circuit?
6.68, sir.
So 6.68 volts, right? What was the total current?
4.9, sir.
So it's 4.9 divided by 1000, because if you remember it was millivolts, I need to convert it, sorry, milliamperes, I need to convert it to amperes. So that's why instead of 4.9, I'm writing it as 4.9 divided by 1000. And I have this resistance, please check it out. The resistance of the entire circuit is 1363.27. Okay, now let's look into V1. Someone please tell me the V1 value, the top resistor voltage.
The 2.34.
2.34, and the current was the same. If you remember, it's 0.0049, and R1 resistance V1 by I1, V1 divided by I1, it's 477.511. Now V2,
It's 1.06.
it's 1.06 volts, and ammeter reading is still the same. It's 0.0049, and R2 value is 216.327. Please check this out. R2 value is 216.327. The reason we got that is V2 divided by I2. When you do that particular thing, you get the R2 value. And lastly, V3 and I3 values. What is the V3?
3.27, sir.
3.27 volts. And the ammeter reading was 4.9 milliamperes, which we convert to amperes. We get a value of 0.0049. And we have an R3 value also. Now, when you add all these three, R1, R2, and R3, if you check this out, 477, 216, and 667, we get a value of 1360, 1361. And just by dividing V by I, 1363. Please see this difference, guys. I'm highlighting them in green color. Please check this out, these two boxes. That is the resistance from the overall circuit, And this is the resistance by adding all the three of them. So when we check that out, the error is really small. So one value is the left-hand side value, V by R, is 1363.27. And the right side value of V1 by V1 by I1 plus V2 by I2 plus V3 by I3 is 1361. So we clearly proved everything. Of course, there's an error, 2 ohms error. And if you look into percentages, it's something like 0.002 or something, or very, very small percentage of error. So we clearly proved 3 things. We proved that total voltage is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Please check this out. Total voltage is V1 plus V2 plus V3. And total currents are the same in the circuit everywhere. And also R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Okay. I will also share this particular Excel sheet with you all. So you can use this Excel sheet and try to check out all the results that we have. Now let's move on to the parallel circuit, which is much more simple. And I want you to remember what all we need to prove for a parallel circuit. So please remember that. And I want to tell you the trick of how to do a parallel circuit. Parallel circuit, if you remember, guys, there's a small lag, I think. Yeah, now we are on track. Parallel circuit is simple. All we have to do is the 3 left ends that we have, R1, R2, and R3 have 3 lefts. All the 3 lefts should be connected to a common point, and all the 3 rights should also be connected to a common point. When you make that, you have a parallel circuit. As simple as that. 3 lefts to 1 common point, we call it a junction. We can also call it incoming junction because current is entering in this direction. We can call it an incoming junction. And since currents are leaving at this junction, we call it an outgoing junction. So at these junctions, junction is a common word. You're familiar with the train stations and all, right? Yeah. So at these junctions, the current division is happening and current addition is happening. So that's what we are going to make. And we need to prove this one, guys. First, we need to prove that potential difference at every resistor is the same. And we also need to prove that I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Once we prove that, proving the last relation is very simple. 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1. All that we can actually prove that. R1 plus R1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. All right, so let's move on to our experiment. And immediately we'll get back to results. And hopefully we have time for Kirchhoff's laws. All right, so please check this out. We have our same apparatus, same material, everything. So I'm removing all these wires, guys. So if you remember, I told you that we need we need to make some junctions in this experiment. When we make those junctions, it becomes easy, I told you. So that's what we are planning right now. So I've removed all the wires. So let's make those junctions that I was talking about. So our plan right now is we have R1, R2, and R3. All the 3 lefts that you see, we need to connect to a common junction. So this is our common junction on the left. We'll make this connection over here. And similarly, these 3 rights, 1, 2, and 3, all the 3 will connect it to a common point. That will be our outgoing junction. So this will be our incoming junction. That will be our outgoing junction. So just to make it color coded, I'm using red wires. So I'm making parallel circuit, guys, right now. And that's my R1 connected to the left junction or the incoming junction. R2, I just made a connection to the junction. So that's why this is a junction point. Lot of what you call busy things happening over there. And that's my R3. So I just made a parallel connection by creating a junction from the lefts of the three resistors. Same thing I'm doing over here. I told you, right? Parallel is much more easy. So from the first resistor right side to the outgoing junction, second resistor to the outgoing junction, and third resistor to the outgoing junction. Right. So what you're all seeing right now, right? So a little better, I hope. Yeah. What you're right now seeing is whatever current is flowing at this point, it is dividing into three parts. I1 to the top, I2 to the center, and I3 to the bottom. And all those I1, I2, I3 are again joining back at this location. And finally, they are entering into the battery negative. So, but let's prove all this. We need to prove that I1 is equal to I2 plus I1 plus I2 plus I3. And also we need to prove that potential differences are the same everywhere. So let's start with potential difference again. As usual, I'm going to set it to 20 volts because we know that these are high resistances. So potential difference will be large. That's why we are setting it to 20 volts. All right, so I'm switching on the power supply. Now, same thing, guys. I'll start with the battery. And then I'll move to the other wires. So please check this out. That's for total voltage V. Someone needs to start writing these values. So I just made a connection to the battery positive with the voltmeter and now battery negative to the voltmeter. And please check it out. The value, please write it, guys. All right. So the value that you can see right now is 6.09 volts. 6.09 volts at the battery, or that is capital V for the parallel circuit. Now let's move on to the capital V for the resistor 1. So this is the first resistor. So all I have to do is put my voltmeter values over that location. So this is my voltmeter left end and voltmeter right end. And as soon as I do that, I should get V1 value. And if you check out that V1 value, it's 6.06, I think, or 6.07. We had 6.09, I think, a few seconds back. So there is some energy loss in the wires also. That could be the reason. But overall, we just verified that the total voltage is almost equal to the potential difference 1. Now let's move on to the second wire. I'm putting my voltmeter to the left, positive to the left, and negative to the right. And you can see again, it's 6.07, guys. So V is equal to V1 is equal to V2. Now we are left out with one more, that is V3. So I'm just moving around my voltmeter to the third wire. Voltmeters are connected in parallel, so I don't have to disturb the main circuit. And it's again 6.07 or 6.08. So maybe we have a voltage back to the normal. So that's why we are seeing a little increase. But overall, we just proved that the potential difference for all the three resistors is the same. And that is equal to the potential difference at the junctions. Now, if I place my voltmeter at the junctions, guys, so let me do that. So this is my voltmeter. If I put it at the junction, any location of the junction point, let's say here, and over here, I will see again the same value. So whatever potential difference at the junction is there, the same potential difference you saw for every resistor. So as you remember our analogy for our, we used an analogy of mountain. So for all the parts of the water to flow down, it's the same mountain. So the same energy level is available for all the water flows. So that's what we just proved. Now let's look into currents. And by the way, before we do, we need to remember what we are trying to prove. We are trying to prove that total current in the circuit, that means total current I, is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, because electrons are breaking down. Whatever electrons you have in the main circuit, only some are flowing to the top, few of them to the bottom, to the center, and leftovers to the bottom. So electrons are kind of dividing up. So that's what is happening here. So let's prove that. We need to prove I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So same logic, guys. I'm changing the same multimeter to ammeter right now, again to 200 milliamperes. First, we'll start with, and also remember we need to break the circuit. So I'm breaking the circuit at the bottom. And that's my ammeter. And as soon as I do that, please write down this, guys. 49.5 milliamperes. It's a lot more current than what we had in the series circuit. Parallel circuit gives us more electric current. We are just proving that. 49.4 or 5. Yeah, 49.5 milliamperes for the total current. Now we need to go for I1, I2, and I3. So I need to close that circuit, otherwise current will never flow. It's like switching off. So I remove that first crocodile clip. So that's ammeter positive and ammeter negative. And please write down I1. I1 value is 12.6 milliamperes. 12.6 milliamperes. I also saw 12.7, a little bit of fluctuation. That might cause a little bit of error for us later on. All right, so the same way, let's go on with I2. I2 again, ammeter to the left hand, ammeter positive to the left, and ammeter negative to the right. When I do, I need to make sure that none of them are touching each other. So that's the value, guys. I2 value is 27.9 milliamperes. 27.9 milliamperes. Let's move on to I3 and close series parallel circuits for today. This is I3. I'm just connecting it to this plastic strip of the second one so that we don't have any current flow. I cannot connect it to any metal, that crocodile clip. So I connect it to plastic, as plastic is an insulator. All right. So that is I3. Please write down 9.1. So if we add I1, I2, and I3, we should get the total current. I think it was like 27 for one thing, 9.1, and I don't remember the third one. So let's add all these values in our Excel sheet and conclude this parallel circuits. All right, guys. So you have all the readings. Let's put those in Excel sheet right away. All right. So please tell me those values. What is the total voltage that we had?
6.09 volts, sir.
6.09
09.
volts. And the total current in the circuit?
49.5 milliamperes.
49.5 milliamperes. So we need to do division by 1000. If you remember, 49.5 division by 1000. Now, you remember V1, V2, V3 was also the same, but yeah, is it 6.07 or 6.08 that we had for V1?
6.08.
Okay, fine. So 6.08.
06.
We had a little bit of fluctuation back to 7, I think, 0.7. So let's have 0.7. Little bit of error in the milliampere scale. And what is I1?
12.6 milliamperes, sir.
0.6 divided by 1000. Right. Now let's look into V2 and I2. What was V2? Same?
Sir, same.
6.07.
Okay.
6.07.
Very good. What is I2?
27.9 milliamperes.
27.9 milliamperes. So it's 27.9 divided by 1000. All right. The last set, V3 and I3, we saw 6.08, I think, for this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
What about I3 value?
9.1 milliamperes.
It's 9.1 milliamperes divided by 1000. So let's see what all we were supposed to prove and what did we prove. We proved that potential difference is the same. So we had an almost same. I told you, right, some errors are always possible, but clearly we proved that they're almost same. 6.09 for the total voltage. V1, V2 and V3 are almost 6.07 and 6.08. So the potential differences for all the resistors is the same. Now let's look into current. This is total current I, and this is I1, I2 and I3. When we add all those currents, check out this value, guys. I'm zooming in a little bit. So please see this. This is the total current of the circuit, 0.495, and I1 plus I2 plus I3 is 0.496. So we are proving that I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Don't worry about those small errors, guys. It's always possible, and that too, that error is in the fourth decimal point. If you check it out, 0.049 is accurate. Fourth decimal point is the problem over there. Okay, then we got this resistance. Resistance is nothing but V divided by I. So we have that V divided by I. Then V1 by I1 is R1, V2 by I2 is R2, and V3 by I3 is R3. And then what I did was I inverted these values. R is 123, 1 by R is this value. 1 by R1 is this. I inverted using Excel sheet itself. So once we have that, please check this out. Total 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, if I add this, I have this value. And when I invert it, I have this 122.416. What I'm trying to say over here is the relation 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. That's what we need to prove over here. So please check this 1 by R value. 1 by R is 0.0081. And the addition of all those is 0.0081 again. So 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 is clearly proved. So all the relations pertaining to parallel circuit is proved. Guys, we'll come back one more time. Our time is off already with this particular thing. We'll come back one more time, and hopefully we can complete a little bit of Kirchhoff's loop law. Okay. So I'm closing this particular screen right now. I'm ending this meeting. We have less than a minute. So I'll give it right away to Amir sir. Please log in back.